Can everyone hear me? Can everyone hear me? Okay. Welcome. Good to be together again. We've been catching up. It's really wonderful to gather even in this virtual way. Really beautiful. This session we're dedicating to getting ready for Purim, and as we'll see, I think that it fits in with many of the themes that we've been pursuing over the last series this year. I'd like to begin, in any case, with some meditation for about 10 minutes, just hashkata, quieting ourselves. Then we'll do some learning about the essential state of mind that Purim is guiding us towards, and then meditate that state of mind, or those states of mind. That's the plan. Okay, so let's begin just as we're gathering together here with 10 minutes of hashkata, to quiet down, to quiet our minds in the way that we've been doing it now for several months. And those of you who are just joining us, any way in which you quiet your mind. At the very end, there'll be the little bowl here, the gong, and then we'll begin our learning session together. So in this quieting, we're quieting our minds, but we're connecting with each other. We're connecting with the world. We're connecting with Hashem all at once in that quiet mind. Here we go. Okay, so with quiet state of mind, we're dedicating this session to preparation for Purim.
Can you make it a little bit bigger?
I don't know if that's going to help. Does that
Yes,
do
that's
anything
great.
for you?
Yes, it does.
Good. Okay,
Perfect.
and you might be able to also do it on yours, and it should be big enough. Good. I'll try to do it in a larger font. These things in the future. It's a good point. All right, preparation for Purim. It's a meditation series, and we might think that the state of mind that Purim seems to be aiming at is the antithesis of meditation. We're looking to quiet the mind, expand consciousness, and Purim is a day of joyful hilarity. Some people drink on Purim, trying to get to a certain state of mind. What's the connection? I think we'll see that the essential consciousness that Purim is working towards is profound. In Torah tradition, Purim is understood as the eternal Yom Tov, the eternal holiday. It says in the Gemara, and the Rambam brings this, even if all the other Yomim Tovim were not in effect, Purim would always be in effect. It is the eternal consciousness, and that's what it's about. But we have to explore how to access this, and that's our goal for this session. So, in the Megillah itself, there's a preparation that goes on for a state of mind, and that's when Esther Hamalka is tasked with going to Achashverosh and asking him to nullify the decree. And if you know the story, no one's allowed to go to the king unless he's called them, and if they do, they're liable to death unless he reaches out his royal scepter and invites them to come, etc. So it's a dangerous thing to do. But Esther's going to do it, and she tells Mordechai, go and gather, here the text here, all the Jews who are in Shushan and fast on my account. Do not eat and do not drink for 3 days, night and day. And also I and my young women will fast. And with this, I will go to the king, not according to law, in other words, outside of the normal etiquette. And if I am lost, I am lost. Okay, very powerful statement from Esther. This fasting before she goes to the king, we commemorate this in Ta'anit Esther that we do on the day before Purim. This fast itself in the time of Esther and Mordechai was 3 days before Pesach, okay, as it happened. But we have a fast on Ta'anit Esther. She's she's asking Mordechai to get everyone to fast for 3 days, night and day, which is quite extreme. In the halachic commentaries, they say, well, the way they managed this is they ate at twilight before each evening. After the day and before the next day, in the twilight period, they had a meal for those 3 days. So that's how they got through. All right. But what is this 3 days about? Why 3 days? And we'll see that the Kabbalistic and Hasidic traditions have interesting insight into this. First, from Kabbalah, the Tikkunei Zohar. The Tikkunei Zohar is a late stratum of the Zohar, late meaning 14th century, we say, early 14th. The Tikkunei Zohar is the jazz of Kabbalah, the jazz of Zohar. It is one of the most delightful texts in all of Torah literature. It is playful, it is creative, it is wild. It's full of metaphor, allegory, all kinds of interpretations. It's just a delight to read. Here, we'll see that Tikkunei Zohar takes an allegorical approach to these 3 days. Why the three days for Esther? And with this, I will go to the king, not according to law. With what she accomplishes on those 3 days with that awareness, she will go to the king. Now here the Tikkunei Zohar does an allegory, since she, and as you'll see it as it comes out, the she here shifts from Esther to the Shekhinah, the divine presence, since she is entering without her husband, of whom it is said, from his right hand fire law to them. The Shekhinah is entering without Tiferet. Malchut is entering without Tiferet, the so-called the husband of Malchut, as in Zohar Kabbalah, from whom it is said, from his right hand fire law to them. That's the passage in V'zot HaBracha. So without Torah, the Shekhinah is, we'll see why this is entering, undertaking a dangerous mission without the support of Torah. Okay, for they nullified the Torah. The Jews of that time in Persia had, were in a state of transgression for a number of reasons. They had nullified the Torah, and in fact, this nullification caused the loss of the first and second temples. In other words, not only in the time of Purim was there a nullification of Torah until the great miracle happened, but in the first temple, that the destruction of which brought them into Galut and into Babylonian Persia in the first place, and then the second temple will be destroyed, and that's what is written. And if I am lost twice. If I am lost, I am lost. First temple and second temples both lost from Jews straying from Torah. With all that, even though she enters without her husband, which is without words of Torah, the Shekhinah is entering without the merit of Torah. Even so, she enters with the patriarchs, who are the 3 days, night and day, on which she fasts. So Esther, who is also representing Shekhinah here, fasts for 3 days. In other words, to align herself with Zechut Avot, with the 3 patriarchs, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, who are the 3 days on which she fasts. Okay, so this for us is a playful hint from the Tikkunei Zohar. Why 3 days? We'll see the Rav Mordechai Avram Alter of Gur is the son of the Sfat Emet, great Rebbe in his own right, has a commentary on this. He says, in the Tikkunei Zohar, the 3 days are the 3 powers of the 3 patriarchs. Okay. Yes, it's with Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, but the point is that Esther, in the position of the Shekhinah, but Esther is entering not just with the merit of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, but with the empowerment, the powers of the koach of Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Yaakov Avinu prepared the way, as it says, when he tells his children, Yaakov is on his deathbed, and he tells his children to gather together. The gathering of his children saved them from Esav. And it says, there in Midrash Rabbi, the text itself says that Yaakov's gathering and the gathering of his children, Yaakov's gathering and the gathering of his children saved them from the hands of Esav. That is, Yaakov gathered also, not just with his children, but he gathered together with his father and grandfather, Abraham and Yitzchak. The 3 of them gathered, and then all the children gathered, and that gathering, that double gathering, saved them, connected them with the patriarchs, gathered them and saved them from the hand of Esav. So the point that the Imrei Emet is making here is the 3 days are not only that we have the merit of being children of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, but we are empowered, by the powers of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and that's what we need to connect with. That's what Esther was connecting with. That's what Purim connects us with. Okay, so how does this work? Here this is the Meor Einayim, Rabbi Nachum Twersky of Chernobyl, the Chernobyl Rebbe. This is the Twersky line of the great Rav Avram Twersky Zatzal, just passed away, a week ago. What extraordinary figure, and he was a very worthy representative of the Chernobyl Twersky line. He was truly the spirit that you saw in him. That's the line. And the Meor Einayim is a wonderful, wonderful sefer in Chassidut. So he says like this: Esther, her name, Aleph Samach Taf Resh. So letters Aleph Seter, Aleph hidden. That is Aleph, the Elufo Shel Olam, the leader of the world, is in hiddenness. As will be clarified further on. We'll talk about it. So Esther, and it means I will hide. That's her name in Hebrew. I will hide. Is about hiddenness, but Moshe, who we're going to see that Esther becomes empowered like Moshe, but Moshe merited Bina. We'll see where this comes from. The mystery of the world of freedom, which is the place of tshuva. For there occurs the sweetening of judgments. For the judgments are not sweetened except at their root. The point that he's going to make, and will become clear, that Esther, in having Am Yisrael fast for 3 days and then undertaking a dangerous task. The fasting is about doing tshuva. And when we do tshuva, we reach a level of what's called hamtakat hadinim, sweetening of judgments. Because Bina is this extraordinary state of, it's a revelation of Hashem Ein Sof. And when we approach Bina, we enter an extraordinary state of mind. Bina, on the one hand, is what's called Ima Ilah, the supernal feminine, the supernal mother, God as supernal mother, God, who embraces us, who holds us, who protects us, who heals us. Bina is also the principle of tshuva, of return. Bina gathers us all back to the root. Bina is also called the place of freedom. Bina is the state as a state of consciousness is beyond the lower 7 sefirot, which are bound by time and place. And Bina is a state of eternity, beyond time, and therefore a place of freedom as well, ultimate freedom. So the Meor Einayim says that the process of tshuva is a process of raising, anything we've done that we're not happy with, any mistake, whatever it is, we analyze it carefully. We analyze the inner subtlety of it and find the root of the issue and how to fix the issue by raising it to the level of Bina, which itself means discernment. Bina is discernment. Right? So when we deeply understand why we did what we did, when we understand the root of our action, we're raising it up to its innermost source, and we see, how we could have made a different choice, where that action might have come from, what misled us in the action, and what we can do to fix that action if we're not happy with it. And that's what's called bringing hamtakat hadinim, sweetening judgment by bringing it to its root. Okay? And according to Menachem Nachum of Chernobyl, he says that's the process that Esther went through in 3 days of fasting. Why 3 days? Because there's 3 levels. Bina is the third of the sefirot, and it involves 3 levels of awareness. Okay, we'll get to what those are. So through this Esther, who is the secret of Aleph Seter, the hiddenness of Hashem, through this process of going to the very root of consciousness, she put off the garments and revealed the clarity. She put off the garments that hide and reveal the clarity. And that's why it is called Megillat Esther, nice pun. A Megillah from Gilui, the revelation of Esther. Okay. What was hidden was revealed. And therefore the rabbis, the memory is a blessing, ask, where is Esther from the Torah? Because Esther is deeply rooted in the very process of Torah. Okay, so we have 3 days as preparation for the great climactic moment of the Megillah and for Esther's great moment. And we commemorate those in Ta'anit Esther, the fasting before Purim. It's a time of preparation. It's a time of tshuva. A fast day before Purim. It's a time of tshuva. Purim as the ultimate Yom Tov, the eternal Yom Tov, is also as the Gemara says, it's a day like Purim, Yom Kippurim. Yom Kippur is a day like Purim. Even Yom Kippur itself, the ultimate day of fasting, the rabbis pun on it. Yeah, it's a Yom Kippurim. It's a day like Purim. Purim is actually the highest Yom Tov of the year, according to this way of understanding. And it involves not just hilarity and fun, which there is there too, but a deep process, perhaps the most profound process of tshuva as well. And so part of our preparation, and we'll try to do this in our meditation, is a deep awareness of tshuva as returning to Hashem as a preparation for Purim. Now, Purim itself, we have the mitzvot of Purim to hear the Megillah, to give mishloach manot, to give matanot le'evyonim, to send gifts of food to each other, to give significant gifts of support to poor people, and also to hear the Megillah evening and day. And we have this delightful, we have also the Purim Suda, right? To have a Purim festive meal on Purim, and this delightful halacha as part of the meal, brought in the Gemara Megillah. Rabbi said, a person is obliged to get spiced on Purim. Literally, a person is obligated to get spiced. The basam is spice. On Purim, I know we know what that means. Until they do not know the difference between Arur Haman and Baruch Mordechai. Until they don't know the difference between cursed be Haman and blessed be Mordechai. Okay, so we're obliged to get drunk on Purim until we don't know the difference between cursed be Haman and blessed be Mordechai. Well, what is the difference between cursed be Haman and blessed be Mordechai? It's not the difference between bad and good or evil and good. It's not that you're supposed to get so rip-roaring drunk that you don't know the difference between good and evil. That's not what it's saying. What is the difference between cursed be Haman and blessed be Mordechai? Well, they're really two sides of the same statement, right? It's a trick question, really. I mean, that's that the Gemara is giving us. The Gemara is playing with our minds here. Because it's not saying blessed be Haman and blessed be Mordechai. It's saying cursed be Haman, blessed be Mordechai. They actually are two sides of the same coin if you understand them. But on Purim, you get to the point actually to put them together. We might still say there's a difference between cursed be Haman, blessed be Mordechai. And Purim gets spiced, something like drunk. And yet they don't say drunk, they say get spiced. Until you don't know the difference between cursed be Haman and blessed be Mordechai. So that's a certain state of mind. We'll get to that. The Gemara then gives a bit of an example of two great rabbis who put this halakha into practice. Rabbi and Rabbi Zera made the Purim feast together on Purim. They got spiced, they got drunk. Rabbi got up and shechted, it says, slaughtered Rabbi Zera. The next day, he asked for mercy and revived Rabbi Zera. The next year, Rabbi said to Rabbi Zera, come on, let's make the Purim feast together. And Rabbi Zera said, not all the time does a miracle occur. I think I'll pass on this one. Yeah. All right, that's a great little cautionary tale from, so here the Gemara always full of complexity. The Gemara tells us a halakha, person obligated to get spiced on Purim till you don't know the difference between cursed be Haman, blessed be Mordechai. Here's two rabbis that did it, and it went too far. And so there's a bit of a caution, don't go that far. What can I say? That it's unusual for the halakha to at all encourage us to get drunk. Even the 4 cups of wine on Pesach are spaced out in a certain way. We're not too spaced out, but spaced so that we don't, so it's not too much. And here too, I mean, the poskim have different approaches. Rav Soloveitchik Zatzal used to tell us in Shir before, as we got towards Purim, that the way that he fulfilled this halakha is he would drink a little bit, it would make him tired, he'd go to sleep, and he wouldn't know the difference between Oror Haman and Baruch Mordechai while he was asleep. He was not a real party animal, the Rav Zatzal. That wasn't so much fun. He's a real Litvak, like me, more than me. But there is a state of mind here that the Gemara is guiding us to. They're calling it spiced, and I think if the Gemara wanted to use the word drunk, they can use drunk, but spiced, the Vesume, is something more. There's a certain state of mind it's guiding us to, and it's an interesting way to phrase it. Mechayev inish levesume before ad lo yada bein Oror Haman and Baruch Mordechai, until one does not know. What? This is rather unusual. This is very unusual for the Gemara to advocate not knowing something. The Gemara is all about knowing. Knowledge is, that's what the Gemara is. That's the currency of the Gemara. So yet here, it encourages us to get to a state of ad lo yada, until one does not know. What kind of not knowing is this? And this is the key to it all. This phrase, lo yada, not knowing, appears in another place in Torah. And this is something that the Meor Einayim was hinting to above. We'll see it now in more detail. By the passing of Moshe Rabbeinu in V'zot HaBracha, the very, very end of the Torah, it says, V'yigbor oto b'gai be'eretz Moav mul beit Peor v'lo yada ish et kevurato ad hayom hazeh. And God buried Moshe, buried him in the valley in the land of Moav, facing the cultic place of Peor, a particularly terrible avodah zarah, idolatry. And no person knows the grave, Moshe's grave, until this day. No person knows his grave until this day. Here again, the phrase lo yada appears, as in ad lo yada, until one does not know. Okay. On this, there's a couple of powerful Zohar passages. Let's do just one of them. I'll summarize the other one, but let's do this one first. So here the Zohar says, come and see. This is in Parshat Yitro last week. On all the 6 days of the week, when the time of the Mincha prayer arrives, harsh judgment prevails and all the judgments are aroused. But on the day of Shabbat, when the time of the prayer of Mincha arrives on Shabbat, Mincha of Shabbat, it's Rava de Ravayin. It's the time of favor of favors, of God's favor, God's favorable will. Highest level of divine favor is found. And the Atika Kadisha, the ancient holy one, reveals his will. This is the very highest revelation of God, that of Ein Sof. Ein Sof always remains hidden and beyond all grasp, but the first revelation of Ein Sof is called Atika Kadisha, the ancient holy one, also the most exalted and beyond holy one. The favor of favors is found, and the ancient holy one reveals his will, and all the judgments are subdued. and goodwill and joy are found throughout all of existence on Shabbat afternoon at the time of Mincha. It was in this will that Moshe the prophet, the holy faithful one, departed from the world. Moshe passed away on Zayin Adar, coming up this week, at the time of Mincha on Shabbat, to make known that not by judgment did he depart. And at this hour, in the will of the ancient Holy One, his soul leapt and was hidden in it, because the Atika Kadisha, which we would say in in sort of standard Kabbalah, is Keter, the Sfira Keter, the highest level of the Sfira Keter. Moshe passed away in that level, and his soul was hidden in it. And because of this, it is written, no person knows his grave. The lo yada, that no person knows, refers to that state of transcendent knowledge that is beyond knowing, consciousness beyond knowing. Just as the ancient Holy One is hidden beyond all hidden, neither the supernal nor the lower beings know, so here, this soul, Moshe's soul, is hidden in that will that is revealed at the time of the Mincha prayer on Shabbat. And it is written, no person knows his grave. So the not knowing means that Moshe, as he transitioned from this world to beyond, attained the highest level of consciousness beyond consciousness that cannot be known. The highest level of awareness, enlightenment beyond enlightenment. And he's hidden beyond all hidden of the world, and judgment does not prevail over him. Blessed is the portion of Moshe Rabbeinu. Okay. So, Ad lo yada, getting to a state of not knowing, is a state of highest awareness that is beyond cognitive, conceptual, idea knowledge. It's a deep level of awareness, but it's not knowing in the sense of concepts. Concept means to grasp together. It's not grasping ideas. Every idea is just a little piece of reality. Every thought form is just a little, we're picking a little piece of reality and actually holding it still. It's not reality itself, which is beyond all, beyond all conceptualization or ideation or thinking. And it's just pure awareness that is beyond knowledge. Okay, that's the state of mind that Moshe attained, and that's what the Meor Einayim is saying. That's the state of mind of Ad lo Yada of Purim. That's what Purim is trying to get us to, that state of awareness. Okay. Now there's another Zohar text that mentions that state of mind from Moshe is not just Keter, but it's Keter, Chochmah, Bina. It's all three together. And essentially, Moshe was at the level, attained the level of Bina, which is the level of freedom beyond space and time. That's why Moshe could bring Bnei Yisrael out of Egypt, says the Zohar, because he was at that level of freedom, of Bina, as well as Chochmah and Keter. Okay, so that all three together are called the Olam HaMachshava. Okay, that's the world. It's just three aspects of the one world of thought: Bina, Chochmah, Keter, discernment, wisdom, consciousness. The three aspects of the world of thought, and Moshe attained that level of all three. Okay, what Esther is going for in getting the decree overturned is a Yeshua, a salvation that requires getting beyond the level of space and time to where things can really change at the level of freedom, also the level of Bina. That's what she is going for. So let's see now, how do we get there? And that's really our goal, and that's what our meditation is about. Here, Rav Dov Ber of Mezrich, the Maggid, the great student and colleague of the Baal Shem Tov. He's the Maggid and the Baal Shem Tov are the original founders of Chassidut. addresses this question. His context is at Yamsuf, Kriyat Yamsuf. Bnei Yisrael also about to enter into a very dangerous situation, to enter the sea. And Hashem gives Moshe advice on what to do. They also had to attain a profound state of mind, of profound freedom to be able to do this. So he says, one should consider oneself like nothing, as if one is nothing, and forget oneself entirely. And all that one seeks in all one's prayers should be on behalf of the Shekhinah. Okay. That's really his advice at all times, but particularly at times when we're praying for something, we need a major change in our lives, in the world. We right now are going through, tremendous crisis on the planet Earth, okay, that's affecting every nation, affecting all people, all of us together. This is a time where we should be praying at our deepest levels. I hope and I know we all are, tefillot. So how do we affect change in our lives, in our family, in our community, in our nation, in our planet? One should consider oneself like nothing, as if one is nothing, and forget oneself entirely. And all that one seeks and all one's prayers should be on behalf of the Shekhinah, that God's will, God's presence, and God's will in God's presence in this world be actualized. Then, in doing this, one can come above time, one can transcend, be above time. That is to the world of thought. That's the world of Bina, Chachma, Keter in Kabbalistic terms, the world of thought. The lower seven Sfirot, Chesed down to Malchut, are the world of words and speech, okay, which are already breaking things up into small pieces. The world of thought is beyond that. Bina, Chachma, Keter. In the world of thought, there all is equal. Life and death, sea and dry land. That was the issue for them. And that is where the Zohar says, and Hashem said to Moshe, for what reason do you cry out to me? As Bnei Yisrael were at the edge of Yam Suf, at the Reed Sea, and the Egyptians were bearing down on them from behind, they cried out, and Moshe turns to Hashem, asks for help, and Hashem says to Moshe, what do you cry out to me for? To me. And this is me as the Zohar understand, as the Zohar, and also as the Maggid Mezrich understands this. To me, that's Shekhinah, that's Malchut, that's a lower level of divine revelation. He said, this depends, Talia Atika Kadisha Talia, Atika Kadisha Talia. This depends on the ancient Holy One. What's happening at Kriyat Yamsuf, the transformation that's going to happen, the miracle that's going to happen, is going to happen at the deepest levels of reality. And God's ability to transform at the deepest levels of reality. To access this, for this, they needed to release ownership over themselves and forget their troubles in order to come to the world of thought, and there everything is equal. Now, this is a profound, very, very important phrasing by the Maggid of Mezrich. Originally, and this is what we need for our own meditation, so this is a key issue. At the beginning, he had said, one should consider oneself like nothing and forget oneself entirely. Okay? And now he says, for this, they needed to release ownership over themselves and forget their troubles in order to come to the world of thought, and there everything is equal. Okay? This, in Kabbalah, and particularly in Chassidut, you often hear the phrase, and we talked about this briefly before, but let me really focus on this now. You often hear the phrase that the high transformative state of mind that we should attain is what's called Bittul Hayesh, the nullification of existence. Yesh, Bittul Hayesh, nullification of existence. And it's a favorite phrase people bandy it about like a slogan. Yeah, we want to get to this very high state of consciousness, Bittul Hayesh, nullification of existence. But it's not really so. That's a bit of an exaggeration, it's an exaggeration. Bittul Yesh is sounds like doing violence to one's existence. That's not what we're trying to get to. Our existence has been given to us by Hashem. We're not about, we don't want to nullify that. That's not the point. The real meaning of Bittul Hayesh, the Maggid is telling us, is to release ownership over oneself. That's different. That's an exercise that we've been doing, over months now, of realizing that we don't own ourselves. Everything about us is a gift to ourselves. And the more we're aware of this, I mean, we from our bodies, from every structure in our bodies, to our emotions, to our thoughts, to our thinking about thinking, all of that is a gift. We behave as if we own this, and I am a self, and I have myself, and I own myself. It's not so. Okay? We are not the owners of ourselves. We are a gift. Okay? We are held here, and as we say, we're not doing the holding, and we didn't bring ourselves here. We do very little to keep ourselves here. Very, very little. We're here, and we're not doing it. And so to get into that state of mind in which we realize that, and we allow Hashem to act through us, we release ownership over ourselves, which is to become aware that at every aspect of us, we didn't make this, and we don't own it. Hashem is making this happen, and we are in the flow of this, that Hashem is making this happen, and it is amazing. And if we can get quiet and really realize this, actualize this awareness, this is the state of mind that the Maggid is telling us to get to. This is the state of mind of Ad Lo Yada as well, until we don't know, which is to say, we no longer feel that we control, that we own ourselves. Hashem owns us, and we're in a state of beyond, in a state in which transformation is possible, in which amazing things can happen. For they needed to release ownership over themselves and forget their troubles in order to come to the world of thought, and there everything is equal. Of course, it's a bit ironic, paradoxical rather. They need to, here they got big troubles. They're at Kriyat Yam Suf, they're at Yam Suf, and they got the Egyptians behind them bearing down. They've got troubles. And how do they get out of it? By forgetting that they have troubles. By getting to a state where release, this is not about me. This is not about myself and protecting myself. This is about Hashem's will. This is about the Shekhinah, releasing, and I myself am not, I don't own myself. I'm a gift from Hashem, and I'm an agent of Hashem. And we'll see in a certain sense, I'm a guardian angel from Hashem. And that's my job, to release ownership over myself so that we can be, it can be in a transformed reality. So this is not the case when a person is adhering to the corporeality of this world, adhering to the distinctions between good and bad, like in Haman and Mordechai. That is the 7 days of the structure, the lower sphirot. You have to go beyond that to Bina, Chochmah, Keter. But how can a person come above temporality where there is complete unity if you're still stuck in good and bad and the corporeal world? So too, when one considers oneself as existent, and as if you own myself, as if I'm owning, of course, get very protective about myself, self, and seeks one's own needs, then the Holy One, blessed be He, cannot enclothe Himself in the person, which is what we need to happen. For He, bless Him, is Ein Sof, the infinite. No vessel can bear Him, which is not the case when one considers oneself as nothing, meaning as not owned by oneself. And then he says quite delightfully, so it seems to me. Okay. So the Maggid of Mezrich is giving us a profound understanding of the state of mind that really the Purim is about, the state of mind that Moshe Rabbeinu lived his life in his mature life in, state of mind that allowed miracles to happen and create Yam Suf, the state of mind that Esther was able to attain as well, to make a miracle happen, even a a hidden miracle, to make a miracle happen. And this is the state of mind that really Purim is about. So the Mechayevinish Libesume Ad Lo Yada, person is obligated to get spiced, sweetened, Libesume, sweet spice, until one does not know. Yes, it's interpreted as having a little bit to drink, but that's a metaphor. The drinking is a metaphor. You know, the drinking is a physical way of getting a slight buzz, meaning a little change in state of mind. That's a metaphor for what's really the point of Purim, the real state of mind of Purim. It's not about drinking at all. Getting to Ad Lo Yada, getting to this transcendent, transformative state of not knowing, in other words, not being stuck in thoughts and ideas and dichotomies and dualistic thinking, but getting beyond that to a pure consciousness, an eternal state of mind, beyond time, beyond space, in which everything can happen, and anything that needs to happen can happen. It's a state of mind in which we become aware that we are agents of Hashem. We are gifts from Hashem, and therefore agents of Hashem. Yes, we're gifts. Everything about us is a gift. We are here, and we have done nothing to bring ourselves here. We are held here, as we say, and we're not doing the holding. But we're also here, therefore, and we affirm it, we accept our being as a responsibility. We are in this world to care for this world, the Abdal Shamra, to serve it, to protect it. That's why, that's what Adam and Chava were created for. That's what each of us is created for. In a certain way, every single one of us, in the view of the world that we have, starting right from your location in your body and your mind, out into the world, connected with the world, every one of us is a guardian angel of the world. Think of angels doing God's will. That's what we're supposed to do. We're a pass-through of Ritzon Hashem. God's will passes through us. And if we learn Torah and what God's will is, and then we also feel God's will in real time working through us and understanding the situation that we're in and working in responsible ways to fix, to heal, to help, to facilitate all the good things. That's our job as human beings. And that's the state of consciousness that Purim is trying to get us to. It's fun, it's hilarious, it's deeply responsible. It's an extraordinary state of mind. So our job is just, let's get there, okay? That's what our meditation is about. Let me describe what we'll do, then we'll take our little break for 3 minutes, and then we'll gather and do it, Be'ezrat Hashem. So, let's do it the way that that it was set up by Esther Amalka. 3 days of fasting. The Rambam tells us that fasting is really for the sake of meditation, the state of mind of meditation. So 3 stages, which the Zohar, Tikkun Zohar says is representing the 3 powers, the 3 the kochos, the 3 powers of Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, the patriarchs. Abraham was who represents Chesed, the unconditional love of the world, who quieted himself to become aware of Hashem, the first to really become aware of Hashem. Yitzchak, who is someone who really did release ownership over himself, who profoundly understood what it meant to put himself aside, to realize that his self does not belong to him, and that let Hashem's will work through him. And Yaakov, who then applied this out in the world, engaged in the world, engaged in reality in very vital ways. Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. It's 3 stages of deeply quieting ourselves to feel our connection with everything, of then releasing ownership over ourselves as Yitzchak, okay, and realizing in every dimension of ourselves that it's Hashem's gift that we're receiving. And then Yaakov, to connect this in really with the world, to realize that, yes, we are each of us a gift to ourselves from Hashem, but it's more than that. We're fully, our being is fully connected with this world, the whole world, this enormous world. Yes, the planet Earth, the solar system, the galaxy, and beyond. We are a part of this. We're an inalienable part of this. For our whole lives, we are not only in the world, we are the world. This world is in our minds. He said, as Rabbi Elazar said in Gemara Chagiga, our consciousness extends from one end of the universe to the other. Because, as we said, as Emily Dickinson says, the sky is in our mind, everything is in our mind, everything is in the mind. So the consciousness of Yaakov is to realize he is fully connected with the world, and he lived this way, and engaged with people, engaged with the world, and yeah, it was complex, and he dealt with it, but he understood that he is, in a certain sense, and we all are, the guardian angel of this world, each of us in our own place, here to take care of this world. So 3 stages: quieting the mind, and then after that, we'll do that for five minutes of quieting, and you'll hear, and I'll say now, nullifying ownership of ourselves for another 5 minutes to realize, do kind of a scan of oneself. We are all a gift. 3rd stage, to feel that we are connected with all of the world, with all other people, with all of reality, the whole world, and to bring this consciousness into the world. Three steps, okay? And then the ring at the end. So it's, you'll do 4 rings, beginning, then for 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. That's how the meditation will go, yes? Okay. Hope that's clear enough. What we're trying to attain here is a state of awareness that Hashem is moving through us, and we bring this into the world, into reality. Okay, hope that's clear enough. We'll take our 3-minute break, and I will sort of give some key words during the meditation to help remind us of what we're doing. I'll take a 3-minute break now. If you have some questions just on the meditation itself, you can ask the questions, but just on this meditation and how to do it, and then we'll start. Okay, stop sharing. Is that Aura raising your hand? You want to unmute?
Hi, thank you.
Hi.
Sorry if my internet's a little bad. Regarding Keter, Chachma, Bina, are those incorporated in these 3 levels?
We're not going to do it that way. This is really, everything here will happen, if you want to be technical about it, on some level of Bina.
Okay.
To arrogate to ourselves that we're attaining Chachma and Keter, and this is too much. But just the Bina is a state in which we're aware that, Hashem we're receiving gift from Hashem at every moment, that we're held. Bina holds us, it really does, and we're not doing the holding. And it's that's an awareness of a state of care, of Hashem's care for us, and then which we then extend as care for the whole world.
Okay, thank you. This kind of goes along with our needs are not really our needs; they're more of like Hashem's needs.
Hashem's needs.
This line of thinking.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It does indeed. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Aura. Okay. Anyone else have a question on this? Just on the meditation. Yeah.
Meir, can you just look at the chats?
At the chats. Thank you. Let me take a look at the chats. A lot of chats here. Okay. Not cannabis spice, no. Okay, I don't recommend that. The Rabbi and Sarah. Oh, that's very sharp. Is that Janet? Wow, very sharp. Rabbi, great. Zera, little. Nice. Thank you, Janet. Yeah, I think yes. That's I'd never thought of that. That's beautiful. Well done. Yeah, I'll have to think what that it'll say from the large to the small. I mean, yeah, Did you, Janet, did you have a point on that, that you had an insight further?
Well, can we do that with the names of the rabbis, or might that even be intentional by the rabbis of the Talmud, that sometimes their names are symbolic and,
Yeah.
and themselves have a message?
Many times maybe not, but here in this case, I think yes. I would go for that. Yeah, beautiful. I don't think it's too much of a projection. I think this is meant to be this very, very pithy, intense passage. So yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I mean,
nice.
that's really the conundrum, to go to a place of beyond distinction when we're told all year long that that's what we have to do, and how to reconcile those two states of mind.
Exactly. This is what Kaya also mentions, a state of expanded consciousness where duality no longer exists or is relevant. Yeah, exactly. That's the point. And this is a state, this is not nullifying reality. It's getting to the very core of reality before these distinctions are made, where everything becomes possible. Okay, great. All right, I think we're gathered here, so let's do this. Thank you very much. So the first 5 minutes, hashkata, the way we do it. But in this hashkata, it's not just quieting ourselves, but opening ourselves to receiving the gift, the gift of reality, of existence. Then you'll hear a little gong after 5 minutes. The second stage, which is releasing ownership over ourselves, realizing we are a gift and we have not done anything to bring ourselves here. We are held and we're not doing the holding. Just feeling that. And then the third stage is to realize we're not just in the world, we are being the world. The world, us, we're all intimately connected, inalienably connected, inextricably connected. And to feel that responsibility and that connection with all of reality, and that we're here to be Hashem's agents in the world. We're passed through for Ritzon Hashem, for God's own will. 5 minutes of that, and then the gong at the end. So it's a 15-minute meditation. Okay, everyone's good with that. Be'ezrat Hashem, here we go. We do not own ourselves. We are a gift to ourselves through and through. We're here, and we did nothing to bring ourselves here. It's effortless. We're held, and we are not doing the holding. We are a gift from Hashem Ein Sof. We are in the world, and the world is in us. Consciousness extends from one end of the world to the other. We are guardians of the world. La'avda u'l'shamra, to serve and to protect. We're angels and agents of Hashem. Every good meditation brings us not just into a place of depth and deeper awareness, but brings it back into the world. That's what it's about. And this is what we've been practicing in the meditations we've been doing this series. They all involve getting to a place of deep consciousness and then bringing it back into the world. And that's also the movement in Purim as well. It's ad lo yada, but not just to stay in lo yada, but then to bring that awareness back into the world, as Esther did, to act with responsibility, to with courage, to do the tikkunim that need to be done in this world. And we know this world needs a lot of tikkun. So Bezat Hashem, we can be a bit encouraged and refreshed, but also ready to be in the world and do our part to do Ritzon Hashem. All right, this is our time for those who still can stay to have some conversation about this this